Welcome to part 3 in our mini series of Quilt as You Go. This week we're going to be learning how to create a border and quilt it, and then how to connect it to the main body of your quilt. Okay, here we can see that it covers just the very top of the twin mattress. And what I would really like to see, just measuring from here down, I think if I did 6 inches on each side, that would look really nice. So now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to measure. I'm holding it down and then moving. Okay, because I always do the sides first. Okay, so we've got 75 is what I've got. So I'm going to go ahead and make 2 75-inch by 6-inch strips, and I'm going to also cut both of my fabric that's going to be on for the border and my batting. So the batting and the border now need to be quilted together. So that's when we get creative, when we think, okay, so what kind of quilting design would I want on my border? So that is something that will have to be figured out also. A lot of times I'm going to be looking at the fabric that I'm using when I'm deciding on different quilting designs. So this is when I like to lay out my fabric and to actually see if it looks complementary to my design. So as you can see, I've got a black, kind of a polka dot-ish fabric. It's like a gray on black for the border, and then I have another one with black with white squiggly lines that I'm going to be using for the binding. I just really enjoy the fabrics with lines to use for the binding. So now what we're going to do is cut 8 strips across the fabric. There, it's going to be just over 6 inches for each one. Okay, now I'm going to line it up and cut off all the selvages. Now I'm going to go sew them all together. So after measuring my border down along my quilt, what I'm doing is I'm cutting it so it is 2 inches longer than my actual quilt, so that when I do my quilting, if it does shrink up a little bit, then I won't lose any of my inches. So I'm cutting the other one for the other side also, so it'll be the same size. Now I'm going to cut my batting for my border. I'm just going to measure it and see how much more I need. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, so we have plenty for this one strip. So we'll get going and pinning it on. So now is the time that you want to think about, okay, so what design do I want? So the thing I've been thinking about is, because I'm doing stars on my design, I have been thinking about just doing stars as I go to quilt over top of this. So that is what I'm going to be working on, is making stars as I quilt. So one thing you can do is you can start by drawing out your ideas. So I have the idea of doing curlicues and going around, and then when I get to the end, maybe going the other direction. It's all how it feels. So I could continue on, or what I was considering is coming in instead and going in, and then going down, over, and down, and making a star, and calling it a cloudy starry night, or a starry cloudy night. Either way. And then I can continue on when I come down here and do curlicues out. And I can go around however it feels natural, whichever direction, or you can continue doing the other direction. And then going in again and doing another star. And I could even come around and I could do a moon and then continue around. So when you practice drawing it out, it helps your mind and your muscles. It's like a memory muscle, or let's see if I can say it right, a muscle memory technique to draw it out first and then to do it with your hands. So let's go to the sewing machine and I'll show you how to do that. So when you're getting ready to do your own quilting, you need to go to the back of your machine, and there is this button right here. So if you look really close, you can see this means that you've got the dog feeds are up. So these are the dog feeds right here, and they're sticking up, okay? When you're going to do your own quilting and move things around, you actually need to come over here and you need to slide this over and disengage the dog feeds. Now you can see that they have sunk down, okay? So now my dog feeds are ready to do the quilting. Now you need to get your quilting foot. So this is what it looks like. So go in your bag that has all of your different quilting feet and find the one that's a circle, an oval, okay? And I will show you how to hook it on. So with this one, mine is an easy release. You just push the button. I love it. Best invention ever. Okay. So, however, with this particular foot, I actually have to release this attachment also. So I need to unscrew this also. Now this is when my trusty quarter, it's my little tool. Remember I talked about that a while back. It fits perfectly in here and boom, it came right out, okay? So now we're just going to connect this over here. Okay. Okay, so first we make sure that this is unscrewed enough to actually get in. It needs to fit between this little screw and this bar. Okay, so now it's out enough. Then I'm going to push it against the bar as tight as it'll go. And then I'm going to take my little screwdriver, right, my little quarter. Got a thread on top and the thread on bottom. Okay, so now that we have this foot on, now we're going to just go slow and move the fabric in the direction that you want it to. Okay, so like I said, I want to do a star. So I've completed one star, and as I go, you'll be able to see more of them. So now, once I've completed this one star, now I'm going to just go to a different section, and then I'm going to go and do another star. I'm going to do some circles, make it look like a little starry night, just rotating it around. I'm using some silver embroidery thread is what I decided to use to make it kind of glitter. And then right in the middle of it, I'm going to do another star. And I'm going to continue my starry night again. I'm just going to continue this design that I've got all the way down. Sometimes you need to pause to adjust your fabric. But here you can see what it's looking like. And that's about what I was imagining when I started it out. So I like it. So it's all about how creative can you be, what can you come up with, and about moving your hands. so I ended going clear off. So anyway, so this is how you can do your own quilting. Do any pattern you want, just go for it. Okay, I need to put some of my batting together, and to do that I like to use 16 is a really good one. 18 is another one that's a really good one. It's like a lattice. This is more like a serger stitch. So I think we'll go ahead and do 16. Okay. So when I'm putting the batting together, I do not layer them. So batting is just going to be set side by side. The goal is when you're doing the serger stitch that it's going to do a line on one side and a line on the other, and then it's going to go back and forth over top of it. But you have to remember, if you're doing quilting, you have to re-engage your feet, your dog feet. Okay, let's see if we got working now. Now it's moving it. It does make a difference. So we're making it so that it's flat when it comes out. We don't want any bumps. So I'm just going to continue with all the pieces that I need to hook together, and once you have your quilting all done, then you're going to go ahead and do what we did before, and we're going to sew along the very edge. Do a 1/4 of an inch all the way around, just with regular thread. And remember to put your setting back to a straight stitch. And set it to a 1/4 of an inch. So we'll go ahead and take our border, and again, now that we've sewn it around the edge, we know what we're going to be looking for. We're going to be connecting right there. We want that line to line up with the line on the red one part, and pin them together. Again, just trying to get those lines lined up really good all the way down. It's okay to use lots of pins if you need, whatever you need, so that you can get them all lined up nicely. So let's go sew it together. So once you've sewn it, now's the time to check and make sure that you caught everything. So I can see where I went up and then down and I missed this edge. So I'm actually gonna sew it a little bit slower and catch, try and be a little bit more straight on that. Okay, now we're gonna just press from the quilt to the border. I'm pressing on the front because we still have the batting open on the back. Okay, so now we're going to do the same for the other side. I finished sewing on the left and the right side, and now I've measured the top and it's 52 inches. So now I'm going to go ahead and quilt the border strip for the top and for the bottom. So I finished sewing on all of the sides. So this design that I did, I called it a starry night. So it's supposed to represent clouds and stars and moons, and I had a lot of fun doing it. And it's a really good practice one for a beginner. So I am still a beginner quilter, and hopefully you'll have fun trying out some different designs too. Just do some cute little swirlies or whatever. It's interesting looking at the design. So we started with a star, right? Well, now that you put all of the stars together, it almost looks like the red is a poinsettia leaf. And so it's interesting how when we put things together that our designs can change, and you actually get a whole different design. So now it's kind of like it's a poinsettia quilt.